Welcome back to Idaho Today. Suicide prevention. It's a difficult topic, but a very important conversation that parents should have with their children. And knowing how to approach or handle that conversation can be very tricky. So we're joined right now by Alyssa Marino. She's going to give us some tips and tell us about an upcoming event as well that can help us better navigate this topic. And it's great to have you here. Very important conversation, and I know that suicide itself has really been a big focus of late, especially this past year or so, for some very unfortunate reasons. But it does bring to light the importance around this conversation that parents need to be having with their children. How do we begin, and why is this conversation so important?
I think how we begin is holding space, right? Okay. So sometimes it's not as easy to navigate that conversation because it's so heavy.
Yeah.
And oftentimes if we hear that answer, yes, I'm thinking about suicide, it's like, where do we go for here, right? So it's just holding space for them and saying, I don't know how to navigate this, but I'm in your corner no matter what. Mm-hmm. And opening that dialogue and that invitation for them to feel heard and feel seen, that's where we begin.
Okay. When and how should a parent, but most importantly, when should a parent start having this conversation with their child?
I think in the beginning, right, as long as there's that open dialogue, but if we see that shift in baseline, so they're now disengaging in things that they used to really enjoy, right? They're no longer socializing with their friends. They're no longer having access to those things that they used to really love. When we see that shift in their baseline from a clinical term, that's when we start saying, hey, I've noticed something's changed within you. You want to talk about it? What's going on?
Yeah, and baseline, for those who may not be familiar, is kind of the usual behavior, right? So what you know of your child, and I say this often because I truly believe in this, trust your parent gut. I know we call it the mom gut, but also dads have guts too.
Totally.
And you know, it's that instinct. You know when something is off, right? Mm-hmm. So starting that conversation, I think though some parents, they might go into this conversation with a little fear of, they don't want to put the idea in their child's mind, right? So how do we walk through that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the stigma, right? Yeah. So if I ask you, I'm planting that seed. Brothers and sisters, the seed's already been planted, right? Yeah. Regardless of if you ask that question directly. But by asking that question directly, you're giving them permission to tell you their story. You're giving them the permission to hear, I'm okay if you say yes, right? So we're not planting the seed. We're offering an invitation to have an open conversation about what they're really struggling with.
Okay. And there's an upcoming event though too that's taking place.
Yeah.
And this event is really profound in the fact that it's going to bring those walking a similar path together in the same space, but also be given some tips through some professional guidance. So tell us about this opportunity.
Yeah, I'm really excited because it's someone that has a lot of knowledge and background in it. Dr. Skinner from Utah, a lot of research behind what he's been doing. He's going to be providing an attachment style approach. It's just, how do you form an attachment with your child? How do you form a relationship with them? And we know there's 4 different styles of attachment, right? And so everyone's walk of journey, everyone's environmental factors plays a role in that. And so he's going to be providing that conversation with parents of how do you engage for suicide prevention? So it's going to be provided for parents at 5:30, April 18th at South Junior High. And we also have a clinical training in the morning for clinicians. CEUs will be provided. If someone that is a mental health professional that wants to obtain those CEUs, they can go as well.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay. And Alyssa, I know that there's so much to talk about with this conversation, and we didn't even get the tip of the iceberg. We got the snowflake on the iceberg. Where can people go so they can learn more about this and better educate themselves so they can have that close relationship with their child?
children'shomesociety.com is our website, and you'll find all great events. You'll find our trainings. You'll find access to clinicians that are there to offer guidance and help for parents and families. Everywhere that you can find any kind of resources on that website.
Wonderful. Yeah. And if anyone finds themselves in the middle of crisis, go there as well?
Yeah, so we're not a hotline, right? We're not a crisis hotline, so 988 would be that hotline provider. But if they wanted to seek additional counseling services, family therapy, that could definitely be an avenue they could explore on that website.
Wonderful. Alyssa, thank you so much. Greatly
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
And everyone, I certainly hope you take this conversation to heart. Thank you so much.